First team up is the 1950 Minising Softball Championship team. 1950 Minising softball team, with its multi-sport homegrown athletes and officials, successfully concluded their outstanding 1950 season with the Barrie and District Intermediate Softball Championship. Over the next decade, this achievement proved to be a forerunner of many prosperous years, including additional championships with the same nucleus of players and officials. Truly an exceptional and small community with big numbers. So, I guess considering that this was back in 1950, a lot of these people are unfortunately not with us any longer. We have Alan Johnson and George Chappell. Or is it Chapel or Chappell? Sorry. Chapel. Thank you. So Alan Johnson and George Chapel. Bill Adams, Glenn Adams, Harry Adams, Bob Armstrong, Wendell Downey, and Winston Downey, as well as Cecil Dick Rowe, are all receiving their award posthumously. Jane Adams will be representing Bill, Peter Adams for Glenn, Brad Adams for Harry. We have Doreen Armstrong coming up for Bob Armstrong, Mary Downey is coming up for Wendell, and Ross Downey is coming up for Winston. And we have Judy Coroner coming up for Cecil Dick Rowe. There were 4 other members that were not be represented tonight. That's Glenn Bealby, Ellsworth Crawford, Larry Durnford, and Charlie Miles.
Okay, looks like we have all the representatives up here. I'm Alan Principal Partner at Paul Jones Chartered Accountants, and we've been from the inaugural dinner. We've been a sponsor, and on behalf of the partners, we are very proud to be a sponsor for this organization. I am honored to be able to announce the induction of the 1950 Minising fastball team, which won the Barrie Intermediate Championship in 1950, their first year in the league. My material tonight comes thanks to Brad Adams. His dad, Harry Adams, player on the team, kept amazing journals. And Brad shared with me the summer 1950 journal when this team was winning their championship. And so I wanted to share a few stories from that journal. First of all, early on in the season, there's a note in there that Harry and Bill Adams was Harry's brother. Harry and Bill had sent their mother into Barrie to pick up the team sweaters and hats. And actually, somebody just brought up one of the hats and the sweater here. And of course, they're in the so their mother went in, picked up the hats. Price for 17 sweaters and 17 hats. Harry noted it was $80. So you could own this team for $80 back in 1950. Apparently, during the semifinals of that summer's playoffs, they were watching a number of them had gone into Barrie to watch the other teams in the semifinals. And for 2 consecutive nights, fights broke out among the players at those games. So it sort of brings back the old sort of joke that I went to the fights and a baseball game broke out. So needless to say, they obviously took it very seriously. Minising played the Barrie Legion intermediate team in the finals that year. And on September 8th, 1950, the Minising team was crowned champions. In, again, their inaugural year in the league. Not surprisingly, and I think a lot of people in this room will be able to relate to this as to what happened next. And I quote this from Harry's diary. The boys went up to Phelpston to celebrate tonight. A good time had by all. Knowing almost every player on that team. I can just imagine what what that night was like. And maybe Alan or George Chapel can. You weren't there, okay? Highly unlikely. For any people in the room who have never had the chance to visit the Palpston Hotel, you are truly looked after by a guardian angel. It's for the rest of it, it was an experience. A number of those players on that team were a very strong influence on the next generation of kids, and I know that because I was one of them. Their community support and hours spent coaching cannot be overemphasized. They could be all builders. And for that, I thank them. Congratulations on your induction into the Springwater Sports Hall of Fame. It's an honor to be able to bring you in.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor to thank those who had the Minnesota softball team of 1950 inducted into the Springwater Sports Heritage Hall of Fame. At this induction, George Chapel and I are the only two players still living. But we have with us on the tonight people who are dear and close to the members of that team who are not here. All I can say about the ones that aren't here, and George will say the same thing, they were a great bunch of fellows. During the war years, little or no ball was played in Minnesota, or in Canada for that matter. So everything started after that. And it started in 1946, and we had no sponsor, no money, but we were builders. And I'll explain why. We were just a bunch of fellas wanting to play ball. The old diamond was in the school grounds. We had a backstop you could drive a team of horses through, and a diamond full of potholes. And the school trustees bought the netting. We obtained 4 poles to nail the netting to, and the local trucker brought us a few load of suitable material to level the diamond off and make it so we could at least practice on it. And everybody, they didn't pick up a bat, they picked up a shovel, and they picked up a rake. And you could say that we started off as builders, and it was the team that did this, the players themselves. Stainer had built a new diamond and put in lights and wanted to start a league. We joined them for that year with all the games played in Stainer. This was no good as we needed home support. The next year, we joined a league in Barrie. There was a Camp Borden team, and I believe the rest of an emitters team, and the rest was from Barrie. And we went from there. And in 1950 and 51, we won the championship of that league. And 2 more years later, I think it was 57 and 58, we won 2 more championships, which meant that we won 4 championships in 10 years, which is a good average. As the years went by, there was a gradual change in players. The older ones retired and new ones came along. And you could say that they all had one thing in common, and that was to play the best they could and win if they could. Menacing is still considered a good ball town, and that is good. I wish to thank you for all coming tonight, and we certainly appreciate it, and I'm sure the lads up above will appreciate it. And I will have George say a few words now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was great growing up in Minnesota. Times were really different back then. Only 2 players wore gloves, the first baseman and the catcher. That's why Alan was the catcher. He had a glove, and when he hurt his leg, I took over catching. And I just want to share the times. Back then, I bought, I think it was the first inductee in the Sports Hall of Fame, Springwater. That was with Crawford. He was our coach. And I always remember, back then there wasn't many refrigerators, and they had a beef farm. About 20 farmers would join together, and each week they would contribute a young heifer. And they would split the meat up between 20 farmers. And they came in, Alan's company made the basket, they put the meat in. But I always remember, I was young, I boarded with Ellsworth Crawford. We had roast beef and gravy for dinner, roast beef and gravy for supper. I was raised mostly on pickle and venison from the swamp, but it was just great. I'd like to mention a couple of my late teammates. One was Bob Armstrong. He lived on the town line between Vespera and Sunnydale, 14th concession on Highway 26. And he was a great hitter, and he had his own bat even back 70 years ago. He tied it onto his handlebars and rode his bike to Minnesota. I think it's about 7 or 8 miles. He rode there and back home. But he was just a great player. He eventually won a batting title. I'm not sure it was that year. And the other chap is Dick Rowe, our pitcher. It just tells of the time. He was a brakeman on the CNR. And in those days, the train went from Allendale to Meaford. It went Allendale, Angus, Stainer, Collingwood, Thornbury, and Meaford, and turn around. In those days, most of the shipments came by train. There was caskets, chickens, and Dick, that was his job. He unloaded his warehouse, all the shipments into the sheds along the way. But the problem was he didn't get back. He left early in the morning. He didn't get back to Allendale until about 6:30 at night. And he had to put on his sweater, wherever it is. He put that on, and his hat, jump in his car, and head out to Minnesota. I don't know if most of you know, it's about a 20-minute drive, but the game started at 7 o'clock. We didn't have any lights. The games ended when the street lights came on. But the umpires said play ball, and we'd be looking around, where's Dick, where's the pitcher? We had 2 big gate posts coming in off the street here. And sure enough, about 1 minute after 7, Dick would come up, and then I thought it was about 30 miles an hour. And he would jump out of his car and run right to the mound. Didn't have time to warm up, and away we would go. So I I always think that was great. It's a wonder he didn't have a heart attack. Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much.
Anybody notice that Alan was up there reading without glasses? What's up with that? Apparently he's only 92. 93. Mr. Chappell's got one short story to tell about Minnesota.
Yeah, after the ball games in Minnesota, we didn't have TV back then. Everyone gathered at the Ronald General Store, talking about the game and other things. But I remember a story. There was a young couple engaged to be married. Everyone in the store, all the farmers and everyone, they were talking about it. They were excited, looking forward to the wedding. And then a rumor spread around the community that the wedding was off. This caused great concern, and they wondered what happened. And finally, one day, the young gentleman who was supposed to get married came in the store, so they asked him, what happened? He said, well, it's incompatible. I have no income, and she's not compatible.
It just wasn't meant to be.